The FIM International 6 Days of Enduro returns to South America for the first time in 5 years. You join me, Alex Raby, on the rooftops above the paddock here at the Circuito San Juan Viacom for this first ever live studio show with FIM Moto TV. Over the next hour or so, we're going to bring you all of the top performers at this 97th edition of the ISDE. But before we get into all of the action, let's take a look at our host venue. The province and city of San Juan hosted Argentina's first ISDE in 2014. This wine-producing province in the foothills of the Andes Mountains provides spectacular scenery for the 6 days of competition ahead. Almost 1,200 kilometres of riding over 3 different courses, heading from the paddock and back throughout the week in a northeastern direction on days 1 and 2, a western route on days 3 and 4, and the southern leg on our last full day before our 31st and final special at the International Motocross Circuits. Action already underway here in San Juan, but before we head into those special tests, let's take a look at our official preview for the 2023 ISDE. For this year's opening ceremony, over 300 competing riders headed to the Teatro del Bicentenario, one of the main cultural centres of the city. Reigning champions in each of the 3 World Trophy classes made the traditional return of the perpetual trophies to launch the ISDE for 2023. Great Britain returned to defend the World Trophy won at Le Puy-en-Velay last year, their first title since 1953.
Obviously, we've got a bit of pressure after last year winning the title. Last year it was, very grassy, very traditional French, and here it's really dry, really stony. So, maybe we can expect some different results, but we're all good in these conditions. It's all similar to the World Championship that we race, so we're all feeling confident. We've all had a good preparation, all had good seasons, so yeah, we're going to come back and try and defend the title.
Their closest rivals may well be Spain. 2 young new additions for them this season from the Junior World Championship. They're led once again by 2022 scratch winner Josep Garcia.
Well, the last 2 years as a team, we finished on the box, second in Italy, 3rd place in France. And for sure the goal is fight for the top step. I think we make a super job with the team. We make summer trainings this summer, and I think we are well prepared. The riders are ready. They are fast, so I think we have a good team to fight for big things.
Italy are the reigning champions in the Junior Trophy, and they've won in each of the last 2 seasons with 2 totally different lineups. This year they unite 2022 winner Enrico Rinaldi with 2021 champion Manolo Morattini.
Siamo pronti, siamo carichi per questa 6 giorni. I terreni sono differenti rispetto all'Italia, però ci siamo preparati molto bene perché comunque anche le nostre cave e i nostri posti sono molto simili. Sappiamo benissimo che a 6 giorni fino alla fine non è mai detta l'ultima, quindi cerchiamo di usare la testa e essere uniti dall'inizio alla fine.
2 changes for Great Britain in the Women's Trophy after the withdrawal through injury of Rosie Rowett, but they are especially under pressure without their talisman, Jane Daniels.
Yeah, coming into this year's ISDE, obviously the boys and the girls won last year, so we've got a little bit of pressure, I guess, but yeah, we're looking forward to it as a team. We've got 2 new girls on the team this year. It's their first time doing the ISDE, so it'll be a great experience for them. And yeah, we're all ready.
Favourites will be former champions Australia and the USA. The women from Down Under, winners in San Juan on our last visit in 2014, now bidding for a record 7th title, while 2019 and 2021 winners, the USA, are once again led by Brandy Richards.
Having the same team consistently, like we kind of know how we all work and stuff. They're both from the East Coast, so it's not quite as familiar to them, but they've definitely ridden it. We've spent some time out in Arizona kind of getting our suspension ready and preparing for it, so I'm extremely happy and stoked to see how we do. I think we'll do very well.
With a high level of technical difficulty in the special tests, dry, stony, desert conditions pose an ever-present risk of retirements that could produce more than a few surprises over 6 days of competition here in San Juan. That's all then from the city centre. In a couple of moments' time, we'll be heading onto the course and into the special test for the first time. We'll be right back. And with me now to talk through the week ahead, and indeed today's route is FYM track inspector Maurizio Michelutz. Maurizio, how many ISDEs is this now, and what are your first thoughts on arriving here in Argentina?
So it's a long time that I'm riding this kind of race. So I started in 2003 with the ISDE as a rider in the trophy team of Italy team. And it's since 2015 that I'm working for the FIM as a track inspector here in the ISDE and also in the World Championship.
First thoughts on the visit to Argentina, back here in South America again?
Yeah, it's nice. Nice to see the Argentina because all the South America, because they have another kind of ground, they have another kind of landscape. So it's very nice, and I like always to come here.
We're going now to see some onboard images that you've recorded for us earlier on today. And Maurizio, we'll just talk through some of these pictures. This, I believe, is going to be special test 2 and also 5 because of the repeated loop of days 1 and 2. So this is at the Albardón Enduro Club just outside of the town. Today's Noco Enduro test.
Yeah, this is the second test of the day. It's the longer one. This is a quite nice test because there are not so many stones compared to the other 2 tests, and I can say that is very variable, very different kind of ground because there you pass through the hard pack to the sand, some stones in some canyons, so it's very nice and where the rider can show all his skills. So.
And obviously you've chosen this special test for us to take a look at. Is this very different to the characteristics of the other special tests that we're going to be seeing over the course of days 1 and 2? Seemingly quite arid, dry, dusty, perhaps conditions. What we expect, no?
Dusty and bumps we have in all special tests, so we expected it on all the special tests. But this is quite nice because it's more, okay, it's the more longer one, as I said, but is where there is more hard pack ground, and I think it's the more funny to ride.
And as far as the week as a whole is concerned, when you look ahead, this is days 1 and 2. We've got a completely new course then for days 3 and 4, another full day of riding on day 5. Yeah. What do those days look like? Give us a bit of an overview of the week's course as a whole.
Okay, the other tests that we are going to see are more, days 3 and 4 especially, are more rocky. There are many rocks, especially in the special test 2 and 3. The special test 1 is quite similar to this, maybe more soft ground, but a long test with many bumps for sure. But special test 2 and 3, there is many rocks. We are in a riverbed, dry riverbed, and yeah. The stones are the main of this.
Yeah, I was going to bring you on to talking about the stones because you said there's not too many out there in this particular test, but we just rode through that little piece. There looks a fair amount of stones through there, but one of the main risks for retirements potentially, stone catching you in the wrong place or something like that.
Yeah, normally the bikes, the rider must pay a particular attention in some passages or like this that we are looking now, because the stones can touch something on the engine or on the pipes and can be broke the bike in the first day. Is not so funny for the rider, so they have to pay a bit of attention for sure. But yeah, it's like this. It's enduro.
And you've been out, you've seen everything that we're going to see over the course of this week as a whole. What are the kind of selection criteria? How are these courses determined in advance? Because maybe the spectators who come to see the action don't necessarily understand that there's a whole process behind this in deciding the course. Yeah,
but we are not only focused on the special test. We have a transport, we have a stage of more than 100 kilometers per laps, and with this heat, it's very important to be hydrated and to be trained for sure. So. The rider must be prepared for it, and today I think that we had a hard day. We started with a very hard day because we have, I don't know, maybe 40 degrees at the moment, and it's not so easy to manage the energy.
Yeah, super hot conditions. What's that going to do to the course? we're seeing it now as you were riding it earlier on, but of course, you know, we've got 300 riders going through it twice. So how are we going to be by the time we get underway tomorrow, and how are we going to be by the second loop of tomorrow?
These images is coming from between lap 1 and 2, so it's already one passage of 350 riders. But of course, I pass again in the end of the race, and of course it's coming worse. But especially when it's very dry, it's like dusty, and the ground is so soft that it's damaging in some parts, especially it's damaging a lot. And of course, tomorrow the second lap will be quite hard.
Just briefly explain what your job is when you're out there, you're making your way around the course. What are you looking for?
So I'm normally come in advance in the race, of course. I come 1 week early here before the riders start to walk the test. I check the test, I check all the track. I pay particular attention to the safety of the riders, so normally my action is to go in the special test, and sometimes I have to do some chicane or some deviation, or I cut some part that maybe can be difficult for mostly of the riders. So this is basically my job, and safety first, and after, okay, also the fun of the riders.
How often does it become necessary to make an adaptation to the course?
No, many times depends by the style of the country that we are going. So, for example, here they like fast special tests because they are common to have desert, you know. So they like to have long straight with full gas, but you know, the speed of the riders that sometimes marks the special test are not the same of the best riders. So I take a look and I try to be on the clothes of the best riders, and I try to make it safely for them.
Well, thanks very much, Maurizio, for literally giving us the inside track there on the Nocco special test for today, and we look forward to catching up with you hopefully again tomorrow, all being well at the end of the day's riding. I can hear the first bikes, the first World Trophy riders arriving just below me. So we're going to be back with our first current riders in a few moments' time with the World Trophy.
See you.
Well, let's get our action for today under the way with the first of our trophy classes, and it's the big one, the World Trophy itself. And our top men from our last two seasons, really, the top two in scratch from the last 2 years, are with me in the studio. Josep Garcia to my left representing Spain, Andrea Verona to my right representing Italy. As far as the World Trophy is concerned, it's Great Britain defending their title this year, but very different conditions in San Juan, Argentina, compared to what we saw in Le Puy-en-Velay in France last year. So, gentlemen, I'm going to open the floor up to you to hear your first thoughts about returning, in your case, to San Juan. Josep, here in 2014, it seems like a world away. I think you were only 17 at the time. Tell us what it's like to be back here now as a more experienced top-line performer.
Yeah, hello to everyone. Yeah, here I make my first 6 days ever. I was 17 years old. I was riding in the trophy team with a 1-5, and yeah, be here after 9 years, be back is like crazy, no? Because in that point the situation was completely different, and I was a young kid dreaming big to be here at the point that I'm right now, and yeah, I'm thinking like with this thing and my skin comes, you know, because this is like special to be here again after 9 years and doing my dream come true, you know, being with KTM Factory Racing team and riding for the trophy team here, so is a pleasure.
And Andrea, first impressions for you here in San Juan. The conditions, as I just said a couple of moments ago, completely different to what we had in France last year.
Yeah, first time for me here in Argentina, and it's completely different from Europe. You know, we walk past week. We walk 100 kilometers or even more on the test. So, and we studied the test. We walk. We choose some lines, and it's completely different to the style of a European test. But even the terrain, the ground is different, and but I enjoyed it, and today was the first day and was quite good.
So for the viewers at home, the riders have just joined us. We don't yet have official results, but I am going to take you through a few sneaky bits of information that we have already got so far. Now, these two gentlemen are the two fastest individual riders of the day in scratch. Andrea Verona was fastest in the first special test out there today. Josep Garcia took all of the remainder, so you're lucky to be joined by the top two. But their respective nations have both hit a couple of problems. As we understand it, and I insist again, these are not official results as yet, the USA we've got leading the way based on the provisional times, individual riders added together, ahead of the UK and France, and then a little bit of a gap to Spain and Italy. But as I said, individually, we've got the two top performers, Josep leading the way in scratch, so this event couldn't have got off to a better start for you.
Well, we come here, first of all, for ride for our team, no? But you have to give your 100%, and it's what I was doing during the day, no? I start the day a little bit like sleeping. I think also because I was a little bit nervous, to be honest. And then I was able to give my speed, my good feeling back, and I start to make good times in the test. But for sure it was a big battle already with Andrea. I knew from the last week walking test it will be hard battle, but it was a pleasure. We are riding so well. We put high level, so I'm really happy to take this win today. But for sure, it's 5 days more. So we done only one, so it's still 5 days, long days. So happy and try to keep this momentum, this feeling, and yeah, during every day.
Because behind the two of you, there's quite a big gap in terms of times to the rest of the group. So the feeling over the last couple of years, the top two in scratch, you've been rising one another's level, and I know in the World Championship as well. So what's it been like for you, first day battling against this man, Josep, out in the specials?
Yeah, I started pretty good in the first test, then even second test was not so bad. Third one I forgot some lines but was not bad. Then the special tests were really rough and really bumpy, and I struggled a little bit to get a really good feeling, but yeah, second place is not so bad. For sure we are fighting, we want to win, we are fighting for the win, so we'll try again in the next 5 days.
Quick word on your rivalry together with one another. You and Josep, clearly you meet one another all the way through the year, but when it comes down to the 6 days, now you're representing your teams and as leaders of your teams really at this point in your careers for both of you.
Yeah, it's for sure a big battle from 3 years to now. Italy, France, and this is the third year that we are battling for the first position in the overall. So he won the past 2 years, so I want to try to get the win here. And yeah, for sure the goal is to go as fast as I can for individual classification, but even for the team classification, and to help the team to get the top spot.
Quick thought, Josep, on your rivalry with Andrea and what he brings to the table as a rider. As I said before, the two of you seem to push one another on more and more.
Yeah, for sure. When you have a rider in the side like Andrea, you need to push like every test like in your maximum, because you know that if you don't push your 100%, Andrea will be there, or for sure another riders. But like today with Andrea, I had to push every test because I know that if I miss some speed or I don't get focus like I usually do, he was there. So it was big battles the last 2 years. So yeah, like I said before, I knew from when I take the plane in Barcelona that it will be again. But yeah, here I give my best. I'm giving my 100% for the team, and then for sure fight for the top step of the individual class.
Giuseppe, as we've said, this is team business, national team business on the line this week, and as you touched on previously, we were just talking off camera before we came on air, a couple of problems for your teammate Navarro, and that's a big loss in terms of actual time. I think it was the special test 5. Are you able to give us a little bit more information than we just have the snatches of info that we have from that test 5?
Well, I didn't know exactly what happened, but I know that was something small, I think. Was easy to repair, to come back racing. But the problem was that was a thing that I think was quite difficult to see like fast, you know. But for sure, I take the Sergio. He was so young. He was crying like, sorry, team, sorry. And I say, yeah, Sergio, relax, do your job. Enjoy, do the things that you know to do, and then we will see. At the end, is a long racing, you know. It's a lot of stones, many fish like dust, river sections, so anything can happen. I told to him, and I said, stay focused, don't make a mistake now in the last test. Just enjoy the test, do your job, and it's no problem. It's 5 days more, so we are on day 5, so many things can happen, so stay focused and enjoy.
And the most important thing is that he's still in the race.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
when you lose a rider, that's when it's game over. At the moment, yes, there's time to make up, but you know, over the course of a week, that's possible.
When the team told me that the bike of Sergio stopped in the test, I was like, no. But then I say, what happened? No, stay calm, because it was a small thing, so he can continue with no problem. The bike is perfect, so I'm really happy for that.
And Andrea, for your teammate Bernardini, hitting problems, I think it was the final special test, if I'm not wrong. Can you just give us a bit of an indication as to what happened for him there?
Yeah, also to us happens that Samuele in the last test, I think like 1.5 kilometers to the end. I think, I'm not sure, because obviously I was racing and I didn't see what happened. So I think he snapped the chain. But he was able with his backpack to put back the chain and finish the test, but he lose, I don't know exactly now, but for sure some minutes. Yeah, same as Giuseppe said, the race is long, and even the conditions are really, I would say, critical, so anything can happen to us, but even to the other team. So the race is long, and let's go for 5 more days.
Something interesting you've touched on there that maybe not everyone who's watching this live studio show for the first time on FIM Moto TV will be aware, but the riders are required to do their own work. So when something happens out there, in the middle of wherever you are on your 200-odd kilometre route, it's down to you to make those repairs, and that's the critical thing in terms of making it to the end of the week, that the rider also doing the mechanical work.
Yeah, it's quite particular and different to the usual Enduro GP, what we're used to do, because, you know, here in the 6 days, at the time check, we have to we have to make our assistance. The mechanic can only put fuel and just some other small things, but everything we have to do by ourselves. So in the transfer, but even at the assistance, and it's quite different. And so yeah, it's a particular race, I would say.
Well, we're lucky to have 2 of the best riders in the world alongside me at the moment. For us, the 6 days of Enduro, it's an annual event, but these gents are working all the way through the season. We've talked a little bit about day 1, and plenty of action still to come before we can maybe talk at the end of the week about results and so on. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on your respective seasons in 2023, overview of what your year's been like, and clearly successes to share with us as well. And then how it is to come to this kind of event, which is completely different, and where you get to catch up with your fellow countrymen. So if we can start with you, Giuseppe, first.
Well, this season was a quite, I would say, I don't know what to say. It was up and downs, big up and downs. We changed bike. We are riding with KTM, the new model, from the beginning of the season. So I had to adapt to the bike. Few races I was still working to find my best feeling, but then we make an incredible job for the rest of the races for the World Championship, and then I was able to keep my rhythm back, my feeling back. The bike was awesome at that point. And when I was like at my top level in Sweden, I had a big crash where I had a broken collarbone and dislocated elbow. I will say that injury was one of the worst of my life because I suffer a lot. And then I had only 3 weeks for the next Enduro GP round. That was also the hardest 3 weeks of my life because I was working during the morning till the night, sorry. And I was able to race in Slovakia. For sure my body was not at my 100%. But yeah, then I had the summer break that give me some time to recover, to train well and be back at my 100%. And I did a really good 2 last races. I was able to win 4 days of 4 and take the Enduro 1 World Championship and second Enduro GP. So yeah, really happy to take a World Championship this year and also Spanish Championship. And yeah, then the small race but big race, because 6 days is only in 1 week, but we make 6 days, you know. So it's a big race here. So, and it's a race that, to be honest, I love because be here with all the nations is always special. You are choose for your national to be here, so it's always special. And also fight against the best riders in the world is incredible. So yeah, this is the final race of the season, and then it will be time for rest.
Andrea, look at your season and also your thoughts at being here in November, you know, for the 6 days of Enduro.
Yeah, it has been, I would say, not a perfect season for me. I would say, not really happy about the final results in the Enduro GP, and we started quite good. Then we had some bad races, and there I lost quite a lot. And then at the end of the season, I was able to get back a little bit of rhythm and speed, and for sure. Is not what we would like to achieve, you know. But in the end, we know how to work, where to work for next season. So I'm pumped, I would say, for the next season.
And now you arrive here in Argentina, change of chip, as it were, a change of mindset, different type of event, working with your colleagues, obviously, in the Italian national team. Tell us a little bit about what the week's been like for you so far, because everyone sees day one competition, sees you out on the bikes and so on, but actually you've been here for a little while already. You've had the journey, which is a significant one, coming from Europe. So what's your travel been like? What's your build-up been like in advance of this event?
Yeah, it's a race that I like a lot, the 6 days, and it's quite particular. Even because you ride alone, but in the end you are in a team. So you travel with the team, you stay with the team, you walk the test with the team. So you share lines, you share even all the life of a pre-race week. And I enjoy it a lot, and I like. And it's quite different because, you know, usually at the World Championship we are used to walk the test alone and keep the line for ourselves, but here you have to share with the other guys and maybe discuss a little bit which one is the fastest, and it's something that I like a lot. And our travel started more than 1 week ago, and so we stay out of our country, our home, for more than 2 weeks. So it's even a big travel, 2 weeks out, and it's something that I like, even because the mood that you go into these 2 weeks is quite different for all the things that I just explained. So yeah, I like.
And Giuseppe, when did your 6 days start? When did you leave? When did you leave Europe? When did you arrive in Argentina? And what's it looked like logistically for you?
Well, I think more or less all the teams will leave home more or less the same day, more than 1 week ago. But it's always nice to travel with, like during the season, you are racing by your own, you are focused with yourself only, and the travel starts and it's like not holiday because you come here for racing, but already in the plane.
Racing holiday.
Yeah. No, but it's true because I take my ticket planes for the airplane for the World Championship, for the Spanish Championship alone. I go alone or maybe with one rider. Here we go like 15, 20 Spanish guys, like we are all friends, and it's so nice. Then we are all during the whole day together, dinner. Was so fun, to be honest, because you are sharing many things that you can share during the season because you don't have that big moments or that hours to share with them. And to be honest, in Spain we are good guys. We know how to enjoy, and we are always joking and smiling. So I think this is the best way to do these things because then the days go faster. You go walking more like happy, and everything is easier.
We've had day one under our belts for your respective teams. Now we move on to the second day. Obviously it's the same route, the same special tests that we'll be doing again. We've talked a little bit about the heat, you know, probably a lot of dust out there as well. No, I know we've seen some of the special tests already and the stones that are out there. So what's the toughest part at the moment about the 6 days, and what do you think is going to be different tomorrow compared to today?
Well, I think in the second lap, like Andrea said, here the terrain is way different than in Europe. It's difficult to find a terrain like this there, and in the second lap the tests were destroyed. But I think at that point they can go worse, you know, because it's already destroyed. And yeah, tomorrow will be a tough day again. The heat is incredible. We are riding for more than 6.5, almost 7 hours under the sun. And yeah, in the special test we are pushing the limits. But normally during the season in the World Championship, after the race day, we go walking to check some lines. But here with the heat, it's so difficult to do that because we have 5 days of racing ahead. So I think we need to have some time to relax also because we need to keep some energy. And yeah, maybe we will go to walk some parts of the test, but it will be more like late in the night when the sun starts to go down. And yeah, tomorrow will be a hard day again.
Heat, a big challenge out there. Andrea, just your thoughts a little bit on what you faced today and what you expect for tomorrow.
Yeah, the heat was really high today, and it happens, I think, to every rider. To me, it's the first time that I feel this, that the throat is really dry. At the middle of the test, you arrive and you cannot breathe so much because you feel everything is hard and dry. Because the heat is not wet. The climate is really dry, and that's why it's a lot of dust also. And you need to drink a lot, but in just a few minutes the throat is really dry. So this is something quite strange that I never felt before. But yeah, then dust, stones, and you can't see a tree for kilometers and kilometers. It's impossible to find a tree here.
So plenty more still to come in the World Trophy, and we know that these two gentlemen either side of me are going to be among the main protagonists, your top two in Scratch at the end of the opening day, and indeed your top two for the last 2 years in Scratch in the World Trophy. Josep Garcia and Andrea Verona, thank you very much for joining me. And a final word on the World Trophy, as we say, no official results as yet by team, but the first information that we have filtering in is the USA leading the way ahead of the UK, France, then Spain and Italy, with a little bit of catching up to do with a couple of those mechanical problems. Thanks again, gentlemen, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of you again in the remainder of the week. In the meanwhile, it's just about time that we head on to our next class. On we go then to the Junior Trophy. This the class for our younger riders, and we've got two of our young guns now alongside me in Matteo Oliveira of the USA and Max Ingham of Great Britain, and two teams that have been out there and working their way through the special tests in incredible conditions over the course of the day so far. Matteo, for you, you're from California, I think, so you know a little bit about the heat and about these dusty sort of desert conditions, don't you? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah, so from California, this is super similar to the racing I do and with the works and National Grand Prix. So the desert conditions and the heat is what I know, but it can definitely still sneak up on you for sure. It wasn't easy by any means with the heat, even though I'm used to it. But yeah, I had a good time today, and it's the rocks and the silt it's tough on anyone, but I'm managing all right, I think.
Max, you and I both know very well this is not what we are used to. Coming from the UK, come from what, 11 degrees, and it was 36 out there today. So tell us what it's been like for you.
Yeah, it's definitely been an eye-opener anyways. I knew it was going to be hot, but this hot is ridiculous, to be honest. It was a tough old day, kind of got into it slowly, good first lap, second lap, the heat kind of really set in, just tried to drink as much as I could, but all three of the tests are completely destroyed now, and God knows what it's going to be like tomorrow. But no, for me it was a good day, stayed on, so see how I go tomorrow.
Now, Italy have been the top team in the Junior Trophy over the course of the last couple of seasons, but there's always such a big turnover in the Junior because riders age out, they move up, and they're obliged to then compete in one of the World Trophy classes. For you guys, if you wouldn't just mind going through your teams a little bit, introducing us to your colleagues, fellow competitors, if we start with the USA.
Yeah, so with me, I have Kaya Leo, and he races the same series I do. He's from Southern California, and he is riding really well for his second ISDE. And then we have an East Coast boy, Grant Davis, and he's from PA, so he's used to the slick, rocky, and muddy stuff, but he's managing super well. And yeah, we're all getting well pretty good. Super diverse team, and man, it's been a good start to the day. Definitely compared to last year with one of our riders going out, but good start, and the riders they're managing the heat and everything well, so it's good.
Max, tell me a little bit about your racing background, and also Charlie and Harry, what championships you're doing, and your build up for this event as well.
Yeah, team consists of Charlie Chater. He's young, he's just kind of stayed in Britain. He's not really done much on the world stage, so this is kind of a big experience for him, but today he's rode well, had a good day. And Harry Edmondson is the 2022 youth world champion, so he's obviously used to these kind of conditions. It's his sixth day. He had a bit of a crash on the transfer after the second test, so he's got a bit of a sore arm, but I'm sure he'll deal with that overnight and come out swinging tomorrow. But compared to everything we ride in the UK, it's completely different, so it's kind of going to take a few days to get into it and see how we come out towards the end of the week.
Now, just as per the World Trophy before, we don't have confirmed results by team as yet in the Junior Trophy. And in fact, the team results for the final special test haven't come in yet. But I can just give you a brief idea as you join us. Latest information we have is that Sweden is leading the way, and a quite sizable margin as well. Very strong team from Sweden, particularly at the top of it, with Albin Norbin again doing a great job. USA currently sitting in second position. Not much to choose between the US, Italy and France at the moment, so a really good battle going on for those podium spots, and then Chile and Great Britain just behind. Any problems that your guys have encountered over the course of today? Any specific incidents or difficulties? I know that as Max has just said, one or two difficulties along the way.
No, I think it's been pretty smooth for the team. I think both our guys kept it on two. Besides me, the last two tests, I tucked the front, just kind of forcing the issue a little too much. But I think Grant and Kai actually had a pretty fair, smooth day, and that was their plan for. They're both fairly new to ISDE. I am as well, but they both, I think, went and set out their goal and kept it on two. So it's a good start to day one for them.
How about Great Britain?
Yeah, obviously, like I said before, Harry had a small crash on the transfer. He's got a bit of a beat-up arm, but other than that, no. We kind of dealt with the heat okay. I was fairly smooth all day, kept it on 2 wheels in all the tests, steady day, but Charlie struggled with the heat after the first lap, but he took on some water and some salts, and he's feeling good, ready to go.
As far as the junior trophy is concerned, it's very easy for us to always look at, there's a world trophy team, there's a junior trophy team, there's a women's team, there's your club teams, and treat everything independently. But we know very well that the USA always comes as one big group, and it is a big group, as always in Argentina. How much are you working as a team together, not only as juniors, the three of you, but the USA as a whole, and gaining some of the experience of the World Trophy riders as well?
Yeah, it's actually, I think from years past, this has probably been one of the best years with just camaraderie on the team and everyone working together. We're led by the veteran Taylor Roberts, and this is his last ISD, I believe he'll be doing, and last professional race. So he's really striving and working hard to put it out on top, and he's guiding us all really well. So it's been really cool to, in years past, kind of just show up and walk the test and kind of focus on the team, but mainly yourself. And then this year to come out and everyone come together and study the test one after another, and really put in the work as a whole group has been super cool, and just makes the week that much better. You're stuck in a van with everyone for 2 weeks, so might as well get on with everyone good and try to hope for the best for everyone. And of course there is still that team competitiveness. Everyone wants to beat one another, but it is a team race, and we're all getting on well.
Last few editions of the ISDE have all been over in Europe, so you're not crossing massive bodies of water to be here. But joking aside, the USA always bringing a good number of club teams as well, so quite a large number of American riders always travel to this event.
Right, and this year I normally come in years past. I know the group of clubs, but it seems like a whole fresh flock almost of riders, so it's pretty cool. Everyone's got that ISDE bug and wanted to come out to Argentina, and we do have a super cool support group. And even this year, being able to get my trainer and coach to come out and support us is pretty cool. So yeah, everyone's just getting on good.
And what's the selection process look like in the US? I know that they have quite a good program of looking at what's going on in national events, and riders, work their way up sort of through the club ranks as well sometimes, and then into one of the trophy teams, and sort of ladder of progression that there is among the American riders.
Right. We actually found ourselves in a pickle this year. A lot of our riders aged out to the world team, and there wasn't many riders under 23 that we had to pick from. So our team manager, Auntie Callahan, he had a little tryout with a couple riders to kind of find that last spot, because it was tough. We didn't have a whole group like years past to pick from. So they did actually a small training camp with 3 guys to select that final spot. And I think it was good, especially with this race being 6 days long. You don't want to come out and have someone definitely blow their wad or something on the first day. So I think it was a good call.
Max, what's your logistics look like so far? When did you leave the UK? When did you arrive here in Argentina? And what's the build-up been like to the event for you?
Yeah, it's been quite hectic, to be honest. We had to get everything packed up in a container at the start of August. That left. And just the amount of money that's had to have been raised just to kind of get everyone here, all the mechanics, the chefs, the physio, everything. It's been a real effort by the team manager and the fundraising officer, everything. They've done a really good job to pull it off, but yeah, it's been a bit stressful. We got here on last Sunday, and kind of missed 2 days of walking. We got walking on Tuesday, so we got 2 or 3 big days of walking. We walked 6 special tests each day, and it's been kind of a 6 till 6 kind of schedule. So, but no, the team atmosphere is good. Everyone is getting along really well and having a bit of a laugh. So, try and enjoy it as much as we can.
Yeah, don't underestimate what 6 till 6 looks like in this heat either. And as you've said, the preparations start long before. For Great Britain as a whole, a massive year last year with the win in the World Trophy. Decades and decades waiting for a win in the ISDE. What's the next step now for the UK, for Great Britain as a whole in this competition?
Yeah, it's like it took 69 years to pull it off with the field of riders that we've got. Is pretty special that we did it last year. We had a couple of riders, obviously Brad Freeman, he's struggled a bit this year. Steve decided he wants some time out, so we've had Alex Snow step in. He's been riding really good this year in Britain, and yeah, he's a really good addition to the squad. The junior team as well. It's me and Harry have both been competing in the World Championship, and Charlie's he's been riding really solid in Britain. So it's a good two teams. The women team, I think we lost one of the riders today due to the heat, which is a bit of a shame, but it can happen to anyone. Obviously, we missing Jane Daniels and Rosie Rowett both this year. So yeah, it's been a bit of a not the best day for the women, but I think the junior and the trophy team should be happy with their performance.
And as far as you're concerned, when you're out in the special tests, you're on your own. On the bike, you're on your own. You know, nobody can help you with that part. But as a team, as a unit, like we were talking about the US guys before, how much help is there? Because really top riders at World Championship level within the Great Britain setup that know what it's all about. How much help do you get before the event in the build-up to set expectations, really? Because inevitably the junior riders are the ones with least experience, at very least, of this competition.
Yeah, it's to be honest, there's been obviously a few races in Great Britain, but nothing has been similar to what we've ridden today and what we're going to ride for the rest of the week. So preparations have been we thought it was going to be really sandy, so we've been riding sand and things like that, but we come and it's the complete opposite, so we're a bit on the back foot there. But no, it's it definitely should be a good week. Looking forward to it.
Matteo, end of day one. It's a long week in the 6 days of Enduro, and it's only going to get tougher because these temperatures aren't going to go away, and I'm hearing about strong winds that we can expect tomorrow as well. So what's in store, what's the next step, and how do you try and bridge that gap to Sweden at the top?
Yeah, I think the winds will actually be good, kind of move the dust around a little bit. Today was pretty hectic, especially with how far we started back, and with the dust it was pretty bad. But yeah, I think to close that gap on Sweden, we're just gonna have to keep on picking it up. I know I got to limit those mistakes for sure, and the other riders got to do a bit of picking up too. But I think we all had a plan of just get through day one, kind of. You know, we can't stress that enough that you can't win it on the first day, but you can definitely lose it. So just keep at it. I know I got a little bit more left in the tank, so I'm shooting for that. And the other two, I know they're hungry, and we got a young 18-year-old Grant Davis, and he's full of energy and just wants to pin it, and it's exciting to. So just keep it on two and keep swapping those air filters. I think is going to be key for the next 6 days.
Yes, we were all 18 and that energetic, I think, once upon a time. As far as Great Britain are concerned, next steps, targets, expectations, what's to be improved on, as it were, for tomorrow?
I think it's obviously such a long race, so you can't kind of get ahead of yourself and try and chase those test times. You have to build into it slowly. Obviously tomorrow we'll ride the same test again, so you can push a little bit further. Yeah, the tests are going to be beat up, but you know where you're going, so you can try to push on a little bit more. But towards the end of the week, I think the riders will start coming strong.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your junior trophy. Once again, indebted to Matteo and to Max from the USA and Great Britain for joining us in the studio. I'm sure we'll see plenty more of them out in the special tests and on the trails over the course of this week. And we look forward to seeing how you get on. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So it's time for the Women's Trophy, and we've got two of the biggest stars from the Women's Trophy either side of me. Brandy Richards from Team USA, Taylor Jones from Australia. Both have been up there and done the job in the ISDE before now, so they're familiar faces at this level, and two teams that we know are going to be competing for honours. We know that Australia are the team that have won all of those titles in a row. The USA among the teams that have been up there trying to take those honours away from them over the last couple of seasons. A little bit of news before we do get into the detail, and again, we don't have the final results yet from the Women's Trophy, but we do have some early indications, and I can tell you that we've already lost riders from 3 different teams out of the 8 women's teams that started the competition. 6 days, remember, so a long way still to go, but Canada, Argentina and Great Britain all lost a rider out there on the special test today, so immediately it's becoming a bit of a demolition derby out there. Such are the conditions, and we've heard from already the 2 men's trophy categories and what those special tests are looking like out there. So if we can, we'll pick up with Brandy Richards, as I said, and Taylor Jones, both great champions in the FIM International 6 Days of Enduro. And Brandy, first of all, from the USA, job to do this year and to pick up where last year didn't quite go to plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year was definitely not according to plan. It was the first one I didn't finish. So coming into this one this year, my biggest focus is finish, obviously, and just stay consistent on the tests and just get through all the 6 days.
Taylor, for you, for Australia, you win all those titles in a row and then your run is ended. And it's where do you go next from there? But you're back to do a job here in Argentina over the course of this week. And Jessica Gardner, obviously another former winner alongside you, as she was previously for those honours, those titles. So a quick reflection on those past successes and being back at the 6 days for 2023.
Yeah, like we have those titles, but it's been a few years since we've actually won. So this year is more about just teaching the younger generation. We have Danielle, she's only 16 and she just came out today and absolutely did incredible. So like Jess and I want to show what it's like, teach her the 6 days ways, and hopefully she can be our next gen to take it to a title.
Now, provisional results, the last information that we had, and this was given to me after Special Test 4, so that's the last team's results that we were able to get. Australia at the time were leading the US by 12 seconds. So there's absolutely nothing in it, and who knows how the day's finished between the two of you. But what's your feeling been out there in terms of how you're going as a team?
We're pretty good. We kind of have a couple tests that we're struggling. We're the 5th team to start, so having to go through a few women on the test is definitely challenging, but I think we're all feeling really good, and it's awesome to have such a close battle with Australia. It's definitely a good time.
It's great for the Women's Trophy to have 2 teams sort of at the peak of their powers and all the top performers from each of those teams in as well. Taylor, if we can, you mentioned Danielle already. What a super job from the first times that we saw right from the start of the specials today. But Australia, on the evidence of what we've seen from the provisional results, possibly the more consistent team top to bottom among the trio. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, that could be fair. We're just kind of just consistently there all the time. We tried not to make mistakes. We're not going to go out there and kill ourselves to win it, but we have a good group of girls that know how to ride and keep it upright and keep it going. So I think we are very consistent, but I also know the American girls are very, very fast and can beat consistency.
And of course, it's a massive demand to come all the way from Australia to an event like this, you know, other side of the world and so on. So you wouldn't be here if there wasn't a very real chance of winning this thing. And the week's certainly got off on that right foot, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It was a job to get here this year. Unfortunately, Motorcycling Australia couldn't come, so we've rented bikes and ran around and tried to get everything together. I think we only have like 10 people all up here for our support. So obviously, yeah, we want to come here and do our best. But yeah, we know how we can ride and what we can do, and we're going to give it everything we got to see if we can take the title home again.
We know what the infrastructure is like for the USA. There's always a massive effort that goes into this event. There's a big team behind you this week, as always, really. For yourself, Brandy, on an individual basis, the week's got off to a great start again. We know that you're going to be right there at the top. There's also the job of getting all 3 riders home, which we know very well is a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Since they changed the rule to have, you know, the 3 times count and everything, it's definitely challenging to have all 3 women there all the time and make it through the whole 6 days. Personally, I don't usually struggle a little bit, but now I'm pacing it a little bit just to kind of get through. And I know that it's really hot this week, and the transfer, even after today, the transfers are gnarly. So just getting through it and being consistent the whole week will be the best.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit briefly off air before we started this segment about how demanding it is, how there's no real rest out there on the bike, and we're talking over 200 kilometres of riding. It's a long day and in this heat, so just explain what it is like out there with that consistent stress and challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely brutal. Today we do the 2 loops, so our second loop we are back on the same trail. And it's definitely gnarlier the second time you go through, and there's definitely no smooth spot. It's nothing but silt, rocks, and sand whoops. So it's very physically demanding, and I think it's going to be even rougher tomorrow, which will be extremely challenging. I don't think it'll be as hot tomorrow, but it'll still be pretty hot, and I think that'll be the biggest challenge this week.
And Taylor, is there anything that you would learn from today, change about your approach for tomorrow, bearing in mind that we go through the same course for a second time?
Honestly, not much will change. Just take lots and lots of water. I think I stopped at a checkpoint today and asked the guy for water, so I'm gonna make sure I have a few more packs ready to go. But other than that, yeah, just mentally prepare myself for the long days. It's gonna be tough.
What does that look like for the riders, logistically, water and food and so on? How does that work for you out there?
Yeah, so we have we're doing service with the Jolly team, so they'll be out there at each time control and giving us some food and water. But then we also have a guy running around to all the tests as well, and he'll be at the start and finish to give us some more water, because like we can't get enough out here, and food, because you're putting your body through so much this week. Like you need every bit you can get.
And I think it's fair to say, Brandy starting the week as the rider to beat on an individual front. That's quite a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew coming in that Brandy was going to be the challenge of the week, but yeah, let's hope she keeps it on 2 wheels so we can race it to the end, though.
Quick word on your teammates as well. We've talked quite a lot about you, and obviously as the top performer on the women's front, that's natural. But familiar faces alongside you again this season. Just give us a little bit about what your teammates, your colleagues have been doing over the last year since the last ISDE.
Yeah, so we have the same team as last year, which is myself, Corey Steed, and Rachel Gudish, which is just a great team in general. We are very consistent, and I think we just really gel really well as a team. They're both from the East Coast, so it's definitely quite different out here. I think they've taken to it very well. I know Rachel has a little bit more experience going from the East Coast to the West Coast, and just kind of her hard enduro and enduro cross background, I'm sure it helps her out. I think she loves the rocks out here, so I'm sure that's good for her. Corey also, she's just a great all-around rider, so I think she's doing really well, and as long as we stay on 2 wheels and keep it going, I think we have a great chance.
And how about Australia? Danielle, how have you been able to spend time together before this round? What's preparations look like for the ISDE for this year for Australia?
Yeah, so I actually live in the USA, so I haven't met Danielle until this race. Jess and her and Danielle are on a team together back at home, so they got to ride and train a bunch together, get used to it, and teach her from there. But yeah, I just met her a couple days ago, well, a week ago.
Super. Well, you're getting to know one another quite quickly, and
yeah, she's awesome.
As it stands, you've got to be on your toes to keep up with her. But that new blood, young blood, I think that's a good thing to keep you know, the rest of the team pushing forward as well. Oh, no, for sure. She's a great rider, and she's going to be pushing Jess back at home and me if I go back to us. But, yeah, this is her second ever real senior race, moving up from the junior ranks. So let's hopefully she can keep it all together. But right now she's pretty happy with today. What's your season looked like then in 2023? What build-up do you come into this event with? Unfortunately, I broke my neck on New Year's Eve, so this is my second race of the year. I did one like 3 weeks ago back in Mexico, but yeah, I don't know. The team called me up and they needed the ride, and I was like, well, I'll be there. How are you feeling then, physically at this point? I'm definitely sore.
That's for sure. I haven't done any of this kind of riding in a long time, so luckily we have a physio here, get a massage tonight, but that's going to be the main thing, is getting make sure my bodies can make it through the week. I can still ride a dirt bike, but I need it to finish the whole 6 days.
And that has been the big story of the Women's Trophy so far on day one here in San Juan, because 3 of the teams, as we've said, have lost an individual rider at least, so immediately automatically dropped to the bottom of the standings. It's a long old week in San Juan and a hot one as well, so I think we'd better let our riders get away and try to relax and get that massage in as well at the end of the day. Thanks very much once again to Brandy Richards and to Taylor Jones.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be seeing both of these ladies later on in the week, and we know at the top of the timesheet as well. So that's just about it for the Women's Trophy, and more news and more results to come in the coming days. Four full days of competition then still to come in Argentina. A second day on the same route tomorrow, but strong winds forecast, plus the well-used and dusty tracks, stony conditions, and our first day's fatigue, as we've been saying, ensuring this one will be just as demanding. We'll be back at the end of tomorrow with another 6 or so guests. We'll have action clips again and confirmed results from today, day one, plus, of course, the latest news. Here's a look again at the course that we'll be following for a second time. So don't forget to tune in at the same time tomorrow for day 2 of the 2023 FIM International 6 Days of Enduro. Join us then.